So now let's go to Utah. Now, is your name Shan or Sean? I'm not reading it very well on the screen here.
It's Sean.
Okay, Sean, I'm sorry. And how may we help you today?
Yeah, so thank you so much, Dr. Beam. I've been listening to you and Kimberly for the last year and a half, and just want to say thank you for saving my life essentially over the last year and a half.
Well,
And
thank you.
so it's really hearing from you, so thank you. So my husband and I have been in an open marriage for the last 1.5 years, and it's been a mass disaster. And so so his relationship essentially turned into what we define here as a real affair over this last year. I was completely replaced as his wife. He moved out. She came up and met his family, his friends. All of our rules went out the window in regards to our open marriage. But he called me on Monday night and told me he loved me, missed me, and wanted to come home.
Oh,
And this was Monday, after the last year and a half. So really
Wow.
big milestone there. And
Mhm.
then on Tuesday, he broke up with her, and so we are just starting our process of reconciliation. And though we were open, the trauma and the destruction that has been done feels like a real affair, and we both feel like we need a lot of help in finding trust again. And so though he broke up with her already this week, he's still very distant and not wanting to spend a lot of time together, and there's still a lot of coldness, distance, and lack of connection, obviously, on our end. So we're past the hardest part of him being in the valley and finally cutting it off with her, but I'm finding that it's still very hard to connect currently because we're both scared and not really sure where to even start rebuilding this. And though we were open, we still broke all of our trust in our marriage. I had lied and emotionally cheated with my open partner at the beginning, and then as a result of that, he fell into his relationship. And he was and his relationship was obviously massively amplified compared to mine becoming a full-blown affair. Mine did not. But he doesn't see it this way because he thinks we weren't together once he proposed divorce on me in February. So he feels justified in him being in the relationship with her, given because we were open to our dynamic, and then said because we were over, he's justified in having this relationship with her. So he doesn't think he's done anything wrong. And I know he loves me, and I know he's made the decision to cut it off with her, but he's still distant. And I think it's also because of the trauma that's happened through us going through this last year and a half. And so he plans on moving home in 2 weeks from now. And I'm just scared that there's been so much destruction that we'll get stuck in that he'll be home again and, he won't be talking to her anymore. We're both too scared to break down the walls and rebuild this.
So why do you think he's ending it with her?
He called on Monday, and she came up here for his birthday on October 10th, just a couple weeks ago, and met his family. And we were having 30 days of no contact. And, I had seen pictures on her Instagram of both of them, intimate pictures and everything. And so at that point, I was like, my marriage is over. Like,
But my question is, why do you think he's ending it with her?
He says it's because he loves me and misses me, and that during that dinner on his birthday, the only thing he could think about was how much he wanted to be with me.
Okay. Do you believe he's telling you the truth about that?
Yes, but I think I'm so traumatized from this whole thing and with him leaving me that it's hard to kind of believe that. So
I understand that.
I also, and I think I'm worried that he's not coming back for me. That he's coming back just because of the life that we've built together. And
so when he comes back, are you anticipating that you're going to continue with an open marriage? Is that what you or he or both of you are thinking?
No, absolutely not. We are definitely never doing this again. Worst mistake of our life. Most perfect thing that we've ever done for marriage, because we had a perfect marriage. So
right, understand. And I don't know if this makes any difference to you or not, but every couple that I've helped that I've personally been involved when they had an open marriage always wound up in the same situation that you're describing, that eventually one of you or both of you wound up getting emotionally connected to another person, or as you phrased it, wound up in a full-fledged affair. Now, the fact that you're worried about him coming home actually makes sense. The fact that you're wondering, is he really coming for me, is very human. Almost everybody goes through that same kind of a thinking, like, is this for me or is there some other reason? But if he says he loves you, And if he's coming home, then that does mean that even if his motives were not 100% pure, and by the way, I don't know that anybody's motives about anything are ever 100% pure. I mean, there's mixed things going on with all of us. But the fact that he says he loves you, the fact that he's coming home, means that there is a possibility of putting this back together. Now, I know that you've been hurt to a degree, so has he. Do you guys have any kind of plan in place as to what you're going to do to make this reconciliation work?
We've talked about going to counseling, and I've obviously been using you guys as a resource for the last year and a half. I've talked to Rusty. So, we'd love to do the course at some point, but I think he's still hesitant about jumping in right away to any sort of therapy because he just wants some time for us to spend on our own and be in the present moment and be happy again, and just to see if we can even be ourselves again before we jump into all this stress about the therapy and everything.
Right.
But I guess that's my question is, how do we even start rebuilding this to make sure that, in a year from now, we're not divorced because of all the destruction that's been done from the open marriage?
All right. Well, we're about to actually make a program about this that kind of gives it a lot more detail than I'm about to give. But Kimberly, we've been talking about this for a while, that reconciliation, that when a couple first comes back together, it should be kind of with a dating concept. Like, don't have a whole lot of expectations to begin with. It's like starting over. And so therefore just date each other, get to know each other again, be able to learn how to talk to each other without having to deal with the major issues to begin with. And too many couples want that. Either have an expectation that you're going to walk in the door and everything's going to be great, which is not the way it works, or that you're going to walk in the door and we're going to start into this intensive conversation with each other to figure it all out. And typically that blows up in your face because it takes a while of just getting used to each other again, having those conversations, easing into that. Now, since you're not ready to come to our 3-day intensive, which is what we would definitely recommend. And we've had many, many couples in your same situation where they've been in open marriages and one or both of them get involved with somebody else, and then they come to the workshop. We're able to help them quite a bit, and so obviously we hope you can come to that. But if you're not ready for that, then the next thing we'd recommend is that you deal with one of our coaches who can help you understand, okay, what went wrong with the relationship. You already know the pitfalls that come with the open marriage. Oh, what about the relationship itself? How do you put that back together? How can you heal that?
Right.
And we have some coaches that can be very, very good in helping that particular situation if he's not ready to come. Now, this is not therapy. Coaching is not therapy. Our coaches are not master's level or PhD level counselors. They're coaches that we have trained and certified that can help you guys think through things. And so we would recommend that you get into coaching, at least you, if not both of you, get into coaching right away. And forgive me if that sounds like a commercial, but I just don't want you to lose it. You're headed in the right direction. Things are going well. And we see so many couples that start to reconcile and then it blows up and they go, there's no use. When we are saying, let us, somebody, but we're happy to do it and we know how to do it, let us help you ease into this reconciliation in a way where that it's more likely to work than to blow up.
Absolutely. That was the only thing that scared me, that she was saying of, well, he just wants to come back and us kind of be us for a bit and see how we can be happy. And I'm thinking, take your expectations down 10 levels because don't expect it to just get back into your groove. And that's my hesitation. It's you're going to need help with this. And you know why. She said why. We don't want to be divorced in a year because that happens more than we would like to say. If people, they do reconcile, they don't deal with the problems. They expect things to be perfect, movie, fantasy, romantic, all of it, fireworks. It's not. And then they think, why did we do this?
Right. And so in a sense, they didn't really reconcile. They just moved back in together.
Right. Yeah. There's a process you need to go to, especially with the trust that's been broken on both sides. I mean, that's absolutely what we would recommend. And it's not because you can't, it's not because of you don't have the capability. Well, it is because you don't have the capability. If it were happening to me and my husband, we would not have the capability between the two of us to see it from a non-biased, unemotional level. So it's not anything against you and your husband. It's just the wise thing to do.
Right. Sean sounded like a very intelligent person.
She did.
So this is not a lack of intelligence on your part.
Right.
It's just, again, that objective way of looking at it. All of us have trouble with that.